Hi, my name's Sasha von Bismarck. I'm Executive Director of the Environmental Investigation Agency. We're a nonprofit that works on the big environmental problems, or we try to. One of them is illegal logging, which is happening around the world at an alarming rate. It's the third biggest transnational crime. It threatens the lives of many environmental defenders around the world that are trying to protect their forests, in many cases indigenous people who have been living in and from and with that forest for thousands of years. And the problem is caused by you and me, in a way. It's caused, of course, by the general consumption, the general demand for that resource. And often it's you and me that might be buying a piece of furniture or a paper product in our big box store in our town or wherever. And even with our best intentions, we don't know where that's from. And it could be financing extraordinarily violent crime, violent against people and violent certainly against the environment. I think you in British Columbia, you know your forests. You have some of the most beautiful forests in the world. You probably also see the tug and pull of what demand can do to a forest. It can get value from it. It can create certain kind of jobs. It can also destroy value in other ways. So forests are complicated things, but they're right now being torn down in a totally uncomplicated way on the other side of the earth as a result of you and me buying simple furniture and the like. So setting out to tackle that issue, we've been going undercover to show where the crime's happening, what it looks like, where the wood goes, and making the connections to the consuming countries, and initially really advocating for new laws, which we successfully did, passing laws that made the trade in that wood illegal. That resulted in us really following the trail to get some people busted under those new laws. And this film comes in right at that time when we passed a new law in the United States and the EU. And for the first time, we're then tracking the wood with an eye towards giving it to authorities that cared for the first time. And we, for some reason, decided to allow filmmakers to follow us around, which we hadn't done to that extent for long periods of time, seeing all the aspects of our investigation. So that was a big price, a big cost, if you will, because we're giving away some stuff. But we thought it was a really important time in history to tell the story of the details of what this problem looks like and what the solutions could look like. I hope that the main thing you get from the movie is the real hope, the real ideas for what the solutions are going forward, and how we all have a very concrete role to play in that. You'll find in this case, without giving it away, that the response by the Romanian people in this case, the story turned out to be mostly about an investigation in Romania, not maybe in the usual suspects of the Amazon and the Congo and Southeast Asia, the Bornean forest, the sort of big rainforests of the world, but indeed the last great forests of Europe, which are the Carpathian Mountains that are mostly in Romania. And so I personally went undercover and showed that folks were willing to sell that wood out from under the supposed ownership of communities, the forest, to really a buyer that just came out of nowhere, which was me pretending to be an American buyer. The response of the Romanian population to that film, meaning the release of just that undercover material a few years ago now, was amazing. It was the biggest response we had ever seen working all around the world in terms of demonstrations and demand for change. And that actually resulted in an example of tackling that issue there that involves every citizen in governing their forests. And I think it's something amazing, and it's something that we're working very hard to think about how it applies around the world. And we are right now, the movie just hints at that. We're working in the tropical forests around the world to learn from that and create these models where people power is really governing what is a people resource, right? The forest is incredibly valuable for so many people, which you will appreciate in British Columbia. I think maybe I'll leave with the ultimate message of what you and I can do as the consumers of that, to stand in solidarity and support for the real battles, of course, that are playing out in the forests around the world, in indigenous communities in the Amazon, and you'll see in this case many cases of communities, historical communities in Romania that were just getting their forests back after World War II and communism, and really cruelly having it stolen from them again, by the voracious demand for that wood around Europe. We have a really critical role to play as those consumers. Right now, a bill is being discussed, just proposed in the United States and Europe, to ban the trade in all the commodities, in the beef, in the soybeans, in the palm oil, that is driving the big deforestation around the world, in addition to the wood products themselves. This could be the game changer that gives us a chance globally to stop deforestation, a chance globally to tackle a third of the climate change problem, which is represented by bad land use practices and deforestation. So these laws that for the first time are going to hold the biggest companies in the world to account for where they clear land to, grow the cattle and send hamburgers to the United States. If we achieve that, which is built on the model of the law and the investigations that you see in this movie, we can really revolutionize how our consumption affects the forests and the people that live in them all around the world. So thank you so much for your interest. I really hope you'll join the fight. You can go to our website, eia.org, and look for the latest. One of them will be an app where you can get help figuring out where the thing you might be thinking about buying is actually from. Did it cause deforestation or not? And you can be part of a movement to demand that from companies. Thanks very much. Enjoy the film.